days of old, Zurin Arctis was well known for being one of the most powerful mages of his era. Being a master of destruction magic, he had written many iconic books on the subject, served as a powerful ally on the battlefield, and was revered as a scholar of his practice. When Tiber Septim became emperor, it was only natural that Zurin be chosen for the role of Imperial Battle Mage. Towards the end of the Second Era, Tiber Septim was gifted with the famed Numidium in exchange for the Tribunal's right to govern themselves without outside influence. Scholars and researchers could only dream of getting their hands on this great relic and doing numerous studies, a scholar's delight as Zurin would refer to it. Septim had ordered him immediately to get it working once again. This was no small feat, however. Zurin wasn't a Dwemer architect and knew little of the mechanics involved, but this would not stop him though. Many days and nights were spent rebuilding on this magnificent creation. Through dedication and hours of research, he finally rebuilt the metal god of legend. But now he needed the heart of Lorcan to give it life. Since the Tribunal would never give up its power source, Zurin was tasked with creating a new one. Septim sanctioned the crude but necessary experiments to create a proxy heart, which Zurin would later accomplish, using his own as a foundation. This was called the Mantella. With the new heart, the Numidium was whole again, and the Emperor used his newfound power to subjugate all of Tamriel in an attempt to eliminate anyone who wasn't loyal to his rule. Zurin was enraged at this fact and attempted to put a stop to the Emperor's mad conquest. In the chaos, Ysmir Wolfheart used the power of the Thu'um to shout a hole through Zurin's chest and sent his heart and the Mantella flying into the Aetherius. In the years to follow, Zurin would rise again to stop the Numidium, and the Under-King was born. To explain this undead abomination, the Emperor chose to weave lies about Zurin betraying him. In the end, Zurin sacrificed himself once again to stop the Numidium, and his unliving body would be buried away to await a time when his heart was returned to him. Buried in a crypt for centuries, as fate would have it, his heart eventually did return, but it did not give him peace or true death. Too weak to breach the confines of his prison, he waited, until a surge of energy filled his decaying body. With life anew, he rose from the dust and ashes to find everything he knew was gone. He wandered in search of what this power was that had awoken him, and to learn what had become of the betrayer's empire, for the bitterness still clung to him. Learning that dragons were rising in Skyrim, and that Talos was now revered as a god, he set out toward Skyrim for his mission of vengeance. If he could not kill Tiber Septim himself, he was going to destroy what remained of his foul legacy. Once in Skyrim, he learned that it was a Dragonborn's powers that had given him life once more. With his newfound freedom from decaying slumber and new power, he took upon himself the name Lord Blackthorn, and began his mission to destroy all that Tiber Septim had held dear. Bitterness over betrayal has left the Deathknight with little to no compassion or care for the lives of others. Instead, he has become the hand of vengeance and is not afraid to do whatever it takes to get his due. He will often use intimidation and violence to deal with obstacles and will only help anyone when there's some form of profit for him in it. You will want to become a vampire as soon as possible for the undead flag on your character for use with the Necromage perk, though you will not actually make use of any of the Vampire Lord powers. In regards to factions and quests, the Deathknight will follow the main quest line and the Dragonborn quest line only for the additional power he will obtain. He will side with the Volokar vampires against the Dawnguard, not out of any loyalty for his undead brethren, but simply to fill out his growing ranks and to destroy the potential opposition the Dawnguard could become. The Deathknight will take great interest in the Civil War, siding with the Empire. His motivations for siding with the Imperials is seated within his deep lust for revenge, his intent being to eventually become Emperor himself and use the resources of the Empire Talos built, as well as the Thalmor, to utterly destroy the legacy and worship of Talos for all time. The player is free to pursue whatever side quests he sees fit, provided you can rationalize the benefit to the Deathknight in terms of his overall plan and his pursuit of growing power. The Deathknight will primarily be a melee character in combat, however he will be augmented by various spells. At lower levels you will use the different zombie spells to revive dead enemies to fight with you, and Soul Trap as well for building your conjuration. At high level you will graduate to Dead Thrall, and raising foes will become much less useful as you will instead select the strongest enemies you can find to be permanent bodyguards. At lower levels you will use various frost spells such as Frost Rune to build your destruction, but upon obtaining the Adept Destruction perk you will need only Frost Cloak, casting it upon yourself before running into the fray with your greatsword. You will keep a healing spell on you for the sake of convenience when you find your health low, but primarily you will use this to build your restoration skill for the appropriate perks. You will have several choices when it comes to Thumes, and will use each as you see fit given the present circumstances you face. When in dungeons or any situation where you face numerous foes, once a day you will be able to use the power of the Ritual Stone to mass raise the corpses of fallen foes to fight for you. When used wisely, this can provide you with an entire squad of undead to fight by your side in the toughest battles. As a Nord, the Deathknight will receive plus 10 to two-handed and plus 5 to one-handed, block, smithing, speech, and light armor. You will make use of two-handed and smithing bonuses. You will also receive the racial power Battle Cry, which causes targeted enemies to flee for 30 seconds once a day, and the racial ability Frost Resistance, halving the damage received from frost attacks. Your Guardian Stone will be the Ritual Stone, allowing you to resurrect large groups of enemies up to level 75 for 60 seconds once a day. The level cap on resurrected enemies can be increased by the use of the Necromage perk. Your stat spread will be 50% health, 30% stamina, and 20% magicka. Primary skills will be two-handed, heavy armor, conjuration, and destruction, with enchanting, smithing, and restoration for secondary skills. However, restoration will be primarily used to obtain the Necromage perk. For gear, the Deathknight will be using a Dragonbone Greatsword, the Jagged Crown, Ebony Armor, Ebony Gauntlets, Ebony Boots, the Galder Amulet, and any self-enchanted ring. The Jagged Crown is a quest item and not normally obtainable as a usable item past the initial quest. However, you can obtain it either via a pickpocketing exploit or with a mod. If, however, you don't prefer to use either of these methods, then instead you will use one of the two Dragon Priest masks, either Nakreen or Connery. Recommended enchantments for this build are Frost Damage, Soul Trap or Absorb Health, Fortify Health, Fortify Destruction and Magicka Regen, Fortify Two-Handed, Fortify Stamina Regen, Fortify Magicka, and Resist Fire. Your favorited spells and powers will be Dead Thrall, Frost Cloak, Ice Storm, Close Wounds, and Battle Cry. Favorited shouts: Frost Breath, Soul Tear, Drain Vitality, Summon Durnavir, and Dragon Rend. For the Black Books, you will take the following powers: Dragonborn Frost, Secret of Strength, Mara's Grasp, and Seeker of Might. Aside from using Dead Thrall to give you two additional powerful followers, you will make the most use of Frost Cloak, dual casting it on yourself before engaging a battle to add additional damage to enemies when you get into melee range, using your greatsword as a primary attack. All other spells, shouts, and powers can be used as needed, with Battle Cry as a failsafe for when your health falls low and you need space to heal. For perks, in two-handed you will take 5 points in Barbarian, giving you 100% increased damage with two-handed weapons. Champion Stance to decrease the cost of two-handed power attacks by 25%, 3 points of Deep Wounds for a 20% chance to deal critical damage, Devastating Blow, increasing two-handed power attack damage by 25% with a chance to decapitate enemies, Sweep, causing left and right power attacks to hit all enemies within range, and War Master, giving backwards power attacks a 25% chance to paralyze opponents. In Heavy Armor you will take 5 points in Juggernaut, increasing your heavy armor rating by 100%. Well Fitted, granting a 25% bonus to armor rating for wearing all heavy armor, and Tower of Strength, granting 50% less stagger when wearing all heavy armor. In Destruction you will take Novice, Apprentice, and Adept Destruction, reducing the casting cost of the associated spells by 50%, 2 points of Augmented Frost, making frost spells deal 50% more damage, Deep Freeze, giving frost spells a chance to paralyze enemies when their health is low, and Destruction Dual Casting, allowing spells to deal more damage when dual cast, and your Frost Cloak to last longer. In Conjuration, you will take Novice, Apprentice, Adept, Expert, and Master Conjuration, reducing the cost of associated spells by 50%. You will take Necromancy, doubling the length of time resurrected enemies will last, and Dark Souls, giving resurrected undead an additional 100 hit points. You will also take Twin Souls, allowing you to have 2 resurrected thralls at one time. In Smithing, you will take Steel, Dwarven, Orcish, Ebony, Daedric, and Dragonbone Smithing, allowing you to create each of the associated armor and weapon types and improve them twice as much. And you will take Arcane Blacksmith, allowing you to upgrade already enchanted gear. In Enchanting, you will take 5 points in Enchanter, increasing the power of all new enchantments by 100%. Insightful Enchanter, making enchantments on armor 25% stronger. Corpus Enchanter, making health, stamina, and magicka enchantments on armor 25% stronger. Extra Effect, giving you the ability to put 2 enchantments on a single item. Fire Enchanter, making fire enchantments on weapons and armor 25% more effective. And Frost Enchanter, making frost enchantments on weapons and armor 25% more effective. In Restoration, you will take Novice, Apprentice, and Adept Restoration, making the magicka cost of each 50% lower. Regeneration, causing healing spells to restore 50% more health. Respite, making healing spells also restore stamina. 2 points of recovery, making magicka regenerate 50% faster. Avoid Death, allowing you to gain 250 hit points once a day if your health falls below 10%. And Necromage, causing spells and various other effects to deal more damage and have stronger effects against undead. Being undead yourself, this also means the perk affects you as well. For full details on the benefits of the Necromage perk, check out our video on the perk, linked down below. For those interested in a modded variant on the build, you will need 4 mods. First, Mehrunes Razor Reborn, which you will use to craft the Greatsword version of Mehrunes Razor in place of the Dragonbone Greatsword. Secondly, the Jagged Crown Replica, allowing you to craft a replica of the Jagged Crown, equivalent to a Dragonbone Helm and fully upgradable and enchantable. Third, Fenderic's Dead Thrall Overhaul, allowing you your Dead Thrall spell to work on beast enemies as well as humanoids and increasing the level cap of the spell to 200 for higher level players. And lastly, Alternate Start Live Another Life, from which you will choose I am a vampire in a secluded lair, allowing you to start the game as a vampire and already be flagged as undead. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Deathknight. I hope you enjoyed the video and the build. If so, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment, as it helps us out greatly and lets us know what kind of build you would like to see in the future. I've been Shadow Lord Zero, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Happy questing.